Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Full Pelt Music Podcast. I'm delighted. In a moment, I'm going to be joined by the Hara ahead of the release of their second album, The Fallout, which arrives on the 23rd of January. Before then, though, the usual reminders from myself. If you would, please do follow Full Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt and X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening. But that is enough of that. It's time for the podcast, so let's go. Welcome to the Full Pelt Music Podcast. The Hara, absolutely delighted to have you on. We've got Josh, Jack, and Zach with us. Obviously, we are having this chat. About a week and a half, I guess, or a bit around about that before your second album comes out. So, an exciting time for me to get to have this chat with you, but probably more exciting for you all. How excited are you to get the album out there?
We are we are bubbling to the brim. I think is the phrase I was looking for there.
That's exactly. Bubbling.
And we've been bubbling for a while, the fizz has been rising
Yep.
for over a year since we dropped Trophy, and ever since that happened, we were like, let's get it out. So we've had to wait, but now it's finally here, and
We've bubbled too much.
we've bubbled too much, and,
We're
and
overflowing right now.
we're in rehearsal, like,
Yeah.
give us an audience kind of vibe. So.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that feeling. It happens obviously a lot in the industry. You write and record an album, get it ready, and then you have to wait ages to get it out there and to be able to play those songs live. And yeah, the anticipation reaches a fever pitch. But here we are. And I've just been doing the review over the last couple of days for Full Pelt that we're going to stick out there. Fantastic album, listeners. Really, really need to sink your teeth into it as it comes out. And we're going to talk now about a few of the tracks to try and whet your appetites for what's to come. And you've touched on the first that I've got noted down actually is Trophy. As you say, about a year ago, that sort of track emerged for us. And it's not just the first track that came out from the album, it's the first track on the album as listeners will listen to it. So both really like important placements, for a song to be that introduction, that statement of what to expect. So the question is, what about Trophy stood out to be that statement of a song for you?
I think it was just immediate. The feeling like writing it, it was so quick, and there was no doubt in our brain that as soon as we had that chorus in place, that this had to be like the first thing people hear. And I think also, the theme of the whole album, it's definitely encompassed in that song. The vulnerability of it, and us sort of just being completely open with how we were feeling at the time, and I think just having that as track one as well, it just set the tone completely for what we're trying to say.
You have literally quoted my review there because it does set the tone for the record really, really well. So I mean, it's sometimes a bit of a tricky choice. It's like picking your favorite child, I guess, like which song you're going to put out there first. But obviously, it has worked really, really well. And listeners that have been able to listen to obviously Trophy and the other singles that have come out, I know the fans of the band are going to be really excited to hear this album. And one of the standout tracks that has already come out is Violence. So that's the next on my list to talk about. Obviously, just a great track, and it's added to obviously with working with Beth from As December Falls on the track. So I just wanted to get a flavour of what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was kind of when we first initially wrote Violence, it was we always had the vision of it having a feature on it. We even had like an AI female voice in place at one point, so we could kind of visualize what it'd sound like. And then we got asked to tour with them first, and shout out to our label Mascot. They sorted us out having the feature because it made total sense, and Beth loved it and did an amazing job with it. And then we went and filmed the music video with our guys Cosmic Joke, and it was just like, it was so much fun. so much fun to work with, and yeah, the reaction was crazy, and we actually got to play it live in our hometown Manchester at the show, and she came out with us and played it, and it was amazing. And it even online it did good numbers, and everyone loved it online as well. So yeah, it's another track that got a great reaction that we was all looking for. So yeah.
Nah, absolutely, and what a fantastic moment getting to share the stage, obviously with Beth, to play that song live, and hopefully something that might be able to happen again in the future. And I'm glad you touched on Mascot. I've not actually sort of planned this, but there's a few record labels out there. I mean, the industry can be dog eat dog, and obviously there's a lot of people out there that are just not very nice people and will mistreat bands and like take advantage of them. But there's a handful of labels, as I've done this podcast, over the two podcasts, about 200 of them now, certain labels will pop up and make me go, they look after their artists. And Mascot are certainly one of them that I've identified as that. I mean, putting you on this spot, you're probably not going to slag them off given the current label, but I mean, is that something you felt working with them?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You know, we've had our fair share of different homes and that, and they're definitely the best label we've been with by far. And you know, we got that was the big thing really. What we look for is, you know, do they care? And they definitely do, and the team is amazing. And you know, we actually signed to them halfway through this album cycle, so you know, we did trophy and system independently, and then they came along and they took the reins, and they've been really amazing ever since. So yeah, very grateful for Mascot.
Yeah, absolutely. When there's good people in the industry that can help, you know, genuine bands such as yourselves that have got this great talent, and obviously amplify that and get you heard, you know, that's a great thing. So yeah, shout out to Mascot for that. And obviously the latest track from the album that has come out, with the support, of course, of Mascot, there is Kings, which is again one of the tracks that, like, listening to the album for the review, I just really enjoyed, as I have the whole album, absolutely. So with Kings, to finish sort of our chat of a run of singles, what can you tell us about that track? You know, what is Kings for you?
It's kind of on topic actually. The Kings is about our experience with the music industry, and you know, those sort of unsavory people that we have met along the way, and how that sort of affects us, you know, our trust with the music industry, and you know, whether what people are telling us is real or not. I think it can be quite a head fuck, you know, because I think you are sold a dream a lot of the time, and that motivates you, but then when that doesn't happen, it can really knock you back. So I think it's sort of a bit of a dig at that in a way, and sort of, but also us saying to ourselves that we won't let that get to us, and no matter what, we trust ourselves, and just knowing that will never change, you know, despite the experiences we have.
Absolutely. And I found on the album that your resilience shone through, you know, being able to, you know, put up with everything that you have to put up with to do what you do, and come out and still be able to deliver such a passionate, like, heartfelt album such as this, and just say, you know, this is who we are, this is what we do, you know, like it or, you know, ignore it, whatever, but you know, this is us. So you know, fantastic. And the whole package of the album, you know, as we sort of talk of the album, I really liked as well, with the artwork. Is something else I often like to take a look at, and the artwork is stunning. And the video for Kings you just put out, the lyric video obviously has got the artwork for the album incorporated into it, all very aesthetically pleasing to someone such as myself that pays attention to that. You know, how did you sort of come up with the concept for the whole package, the artwork and everything?
Yeah, shout out to our guys, Cosmic Joe. They've been with us since the start. They do all our music videos, all of our live footage, everything that you see online, is those guys, and they've been with us since the start. And with every song, we pretty much trust them to have the same vision that we do. We go in and we have these meetings, and we talk about, like, bullet points of what things we want to hit, what we think, like, the song's about, and where the emotion is, and how we can portray that in music videos. And it was the first one of the bunch with Kings that there wasn't a full-on videoed, like, film music video. So we used the the artwork that they'd provided and they'd made around that. And with the album artwork, we actually was in Berlin to shoot them photos, and the one of us on the step, all that sort of things, and the front cover they did. It was just like a combined vision, and they brought it to life and all that sort of stuff. It's like industrial, really, kind of. It's what we're here about. It kind of encapsulates that raw
we wanted
energy.
to like band together under the front cover, for example. It's got our band logo, the TH. One of the biggest things that I remember conceptually about the start of this album was that had to be the focus. So it was, literally like us putting our banner in the ground, flying our flag. That was like the kind of initial inception of, all right, this is us. How are we going to build this world? Around this new idea.
Also, if you do like getting deep into like artwork stuff, the symbols on the flag, they all have like meanings as well. Like they're all triangles, which sort of symbolises like us three as a unit, and I can't remember what they're all like very traditional and
it's like delta something.
Yeah,
they all have a meaning.
Yeah.
But everything's in threes on it, and it's just like Zach said. It's literally us waving our own flag.
Yeah. I do love the attention to detail and just the love that you've put into the album, because it does shine through for me. Again, as someone that spends half of my life, listening to music that I'm sent, and I genuinely, only really get bands on the podcast that I think, that I can buy into this, I can invest in this, because they're invested in themselves. It's not just, hey, I want to be a rock star. It's like, that would be nice, but like this is what we want to do. We've got this creativity inside of us that we need to let out, and like, the whole package there is stunning. And I'm glad you've touched on music videos, because as people that listen to this podcast regularly will know, I am a music video geek amongst many other types of geek that I am. Grew up, obviously, at a time when music TV was massive, Kerrang and Scuzz and MTV, and I'd watch it before school and after school, and it helps you, I think, form better bonds with the bands than just listening to it. Adds a whole new layer to that sort of shared experience of the music. And you've obviously worked with Cosmic Joke, and the videos are fantastic. So, I mean, I've got two questions I was going to sort of quickly trot out on videos. One, very simply, how important are they to you? Obviously, at a time when music TV isn't what it was, but I still think they're vitally important to you.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think they can really, set the tone and I was going to say the colour for what people hear when they listen to the music, which is, I think it is actually that in a way where I think you can watch a video and it can create a whole new vision of what the song is in your head. And I think for us as well, being big performers and big personalities, I think music videos are so important, especially on this album. One thing we wanted to showcase is us as showmen and musicians, and I think you'll notice that with a lot of the performance shots that we do is, in a way we're sort of advertising the show that we have as well as the song. So massively important for us, and I think creatively it's just super fun to do that, once the album's written and then go into the visual world, it's a whole new experience. I think our only issue, which is every meeting we have with a new album, we're like, right, we want to do this, and then they're like, well, how much budget do we have? So we have these big dreams, and then we're like, right, we've only got this, so we'll try and make a version of that.
Yeah. Definitely a problem, that, but you can get creative and create some really stunning videos without a big budget. A number of bands that come on the podcast have shown that, and you absolutely fit that as well. And the one that I was going to draw listeners' attention to, there'll be links in the bio of the podcast for listeners. Obviously, you can click through, go and watch. Is Easier to Die, because it's again a unique concept there, where it's the one shot video, which is very tricky to pull off and make it look like authentic and real, and you've done that so well. But the biggest question I have is, how many attempts at the one-shot video did it take?
We were genuine. This is genuine. We took one practice attempt where we was figuring out where the camera would go.
It was with the iPhone, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the iPhone. We took one camera take where we figured out where Josh would move for the camera to be, and then we nailed it on the third one, which was really the first full take. And it was we literally, the Cosmic Jolt were like, that was it, we've got it. It was insane. It was, so
it was all
crazy.
The prep leading up to that, really. I think just knowing like the markers, because I think I get up on a wall at one point, so the camera moves to like Jack and I have to run over there, and I think as soon as we got that, it was like, right lads, just give us your fucking energy. And the third one, we all just looked at each other like, we'll do one more just in case, and then we knew it was that one.
It was crazy. Like Josh said, we kind of like rehearsed it, and then by the time the camera came out, it was like, there we go, got it. And that's what we wanted with the song though. Like Josh has said, we wrote the whole album for live. Like we're a massive live band. We love playing live. It's a huge part of what we do. And a huge part of how we've grown so far. So portraying that in the song, it was in that meeting, it was like, right, what do? We want to do a performance thing. And then it was suggested that it was just a one take. We even spoke about it being on a drone, and like a drone would fly in and out and do all that sort of stuff, but we couldn't afford to do that. So it was it was crazy. And we went down to London to do it on this rooftop and nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it. 3 attempts. I would not have predicted that. So, absolutely fantastic effort on your parts to get that done, and then obviously, all down the pub after that. I guess so fantastic.
There was that, but I think the hardest part of that day was going up a 10-story building with all our equipment, the camera gear, the speakers, and then having to go back down the 10 stories.
We had like a daisy chain.
Yeah, we had a full-on system. They were like one of us on each floor, and we'd pass everything down. So
it was
that was the real work on that day, I think.
Absolutely, you definitely earned it, and listeners with that knowledge, you really do go and watch that video and make the most of it to make their sacrifices of those 10 flights of stairs worth it. Because I hate 1 flight of stairs, only 10 carrying stuff. Nah, not for me. But obviously, as I've touched on, like a fantastic album that listeners really need to invest in, and I've said this in the review. Obviously, it's an album that you can really. Just invest in everything that's gone into it, but it's also an album that you can just stick on and rock out with. You don't, it's up to you. It's got everything that you kind of need from a sort of modern rock album. And listeners, say, hopefully I'm making you excited for it. It is out on the 23rd of this month, so obviously, grab a copy, pre-order a copy, do the right thing and ever listen to it. And then we get to you've touched on, obviously it's written for the live side. And obviously once it's out, we get to do the best thing, and that's enjoy these songs live. So a number of the tracks you've already been able to get out and play at the end of last year. I'm still getting used to saying last year. It's only 2 weeks into January, and I keep still thinking it's like 2025. But end of last year, got out and played these songs live. Did they, the songs you've played so far, translate across to the stage the way that you hoped they would, especially given that motive of writing it for the live stage?
Yeah, I think so. I think one big moment was really early on, before we released anything. We got the opportunity to support Ice Nine Kills in 2024, and it was the first ever time we'd played Trophy, and it went down an absolute treat. Everyone was fucking rocking out. We were supporting one of our favourite bands in the world, and we're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the shit.
People coming up after us being like, oh, them new songs are unreal. Right, and that, it was so cool.
Yeah, and every other song we've done live so far it's worked really well. And I think also it's worked really well with the show we already had. We've always been big performers, and we've always pushed the boat out in that sense. So it's the transition into incorporating these new songs into the set has felt almost seamless in a way. It's just been elevated by the sound, and I think that the performance and the hard hittingness is still there.
Yeah. We're going to tour shortly as well, and it's our biggest set ever. So we're preparing for the new tour, the new Fallout tour, and it's at the minute it's like 20 songs, something. So it includes the full album as well as like the fan favourites and our favourites from previous releases and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a long ass set. It doesn't let up at any point, which is something we've always kind of wanted to do and have the ability to do, and now having that is crazy.
Amazing. Got to build that stamina up then, ready for that tour, definitely. And I mean, I love how you touched on obviously the fans coming up to you and praising the songs, because I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't matter what the industry types have to say about the songs, doesn't matter what people like me have to say about the songs. You know, the two people that matter most are obviously the artists yourselves and the fans, you know, and the feedback you're getting from them. So obviously, always a great sign when they're coming up to you after the show and picking on the new songs to say, yeah, that really does it. And as you've touched on, opportunities are not going to be few and far between. There's plenty of opportunity for fans to come and catch you at a show. I always give out the social handles, and you've made my life really easy. It is the Hara Band across all of the different social platforms, so I haven't got to read out multiple different ones with all sorts of underscores and ridiculous stuff in there. So it'll pop up in the corner. Listeners, follow the band, go and check out what dates are coming up, because there are plenty. Pick one and head along to see the band, because I've caught you live in the past. Fantastic experience. So listeners need to do that as well. You've got the 2 release shows around the release time, Manchester and London, and then there is a beautiful tour. I'm a music video geek. I'm a geek when it comes to like grassroots venues as well. I just love to support obviously our independent venues, and I look at the list of places and the list of venues that they're going to, and there's some of the best grassroots venues in the whole country that you're playing. So listeners, plenty of opportunity. And obviously, again, sort of to get back to that first stage where I asked how excited you were for the album, I'm guessing you are excited to get out and play these songs for the fans.
Absolutely, man. Lots of new places as well, so yeah, very excited.
And that is another great thing, isn't it? Getting to go out there and see these new towns, new cities, new places, meet new people. So, yeah, listeners, definitely, as I say, follow the band and get along to a show. The last question on this podcast, I keep the same. It follows the live conversation, and it's an opportunity for us just to put the spotlight on some of those independent venues. So I'm asking every guest just to give a shout out, and obviously there's 3 of you can give 3 shout outs to venues that you absolutely love and you just want to give a shout out to. And I encourage the listeners to try and head along to see a show at that venue. I want to try and go to every venue that the artists mention on my podcast as well. So where would you like to shout out?
I'll go first. I'll go from my hometown of Preston. We are playing the lovely the Ferret venue, which is one of the best grassroots venue in the country, in my opinion.
I want to go with one we spoke about on the last interview, which is at the Green Door store in Brighton, which is such a fun venue because the floor is literally it's like a stone wobbly floor, so like the mosh pits in that venue are very interesting, and it's just a great vibe. So yeah, great venue.
Yeah, then I'll go for our hometown one near here. We're doing the Deaf Institute for our album release show. It's one where I've seen a lot of bands come through and play when they were smaller and doing little intimate shows, so it's cool for us to be doing it as well. And it's a nice high stage as well, so it's good for Josh to jump over the crowd and do some crowd surfing off. So yeah, it's cool. It's not a great moment though. It sucks.
No, 3 fantastic venues there, listeners. Like I say, absolutely support your local venues. Support the Hara with this album because it is well worth your time investing in. Check out the videos, the singles we've talked about, and obviously again the Fallout 23rd of the month. Pre-order it if you can. If not, stream it or whatever you do to listen to music. Definitely check it out. That is my final message, but I always give the final message over to the guests. So how would you like to end the podcast today?
Yo guys, we're the Hara. Our new album, The Fallout's out, and you can not listen to it, but if you don't, you are going to be so sad. Your life's going to be awful. Yeah. And you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side of listening to that album. So I'd recommend just doing it, finding time to do it. You might as well. And then what will happen is you'll go, oh my God, these must be great live. And then you'll come to a show, and then that is the point where you realise, oh, this is the hole that I had in myself,
Yeah.
the Hara's life show.
This is my life
This
now.
is my
This
life.
is my hole, and this is my life.
Hole and life.
And we're going to
Yeah.
fill it.
Wait, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
Let the Hara fill your hole might be the way to end this podcast, but I don't know, that could be misinterpreted. So,
Perfect.
no, absolutely the best ending there, I think. Thank you all so much, obviously, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, man.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with the Hara. Do make sure you check out their new album, The Fallout, which is out on January the 23rd. And of course, follow the band on social media to stay up to date with everything coming from them. You can also follow Full Pelt. We are on Facebook at Full Pelt and on X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening, because we will be back very soon with another episode of the Full Pelt Music Podcast.